230 special assistants, was also a beneficiary of that 200,000 special assistants
Oh, really?
appointed by the FCT minister. So it's a case of using the template of the FCT, the template the FCT minister left behind. Exactly what the current governor is also using, the same template, that the FCT minister bequeathed to them. So,
But
but
but but
all
but
of
he, but
this
he has said
speaks to.
he's not going to do any structure that has to do with Wike. I mean, so there was no any structure left.
Well, it depends on your definition of what a structure is. But what I am telling you is that this is part of the template of the FCT minister when he was governor, and it was the first time we witnessed that kind of very funny appointment in Rivers State, where you
Very funny
appointed
indeed.
over 200,000 special assistants, and today a beneficiary of that template is now also using it. So I know that when the FCT minister made that appointment, that was very close to the electioneering window.
Yeah.
So we all saw that as part of a plot
To win
to prepare
election.
for the election, and some of us also argued that was 200,000 votes already in the bag for the FCT minister. So perhaps maybe the current chairman of Obiakpo local government area, which is the local government area of the current FCT minister,
Of Wike.
is also already making projections towards 2027, and is already building his own structure, as we have seen, across the landscape of Rivers State since the Fubara Wike saga started.
What has been Fubara's comments on this? I mean, what has his body reaction towards this kind of appointment?
Is it whose reaction? The governor's reaction?
Yes, Fubara.
Fubara's reaction.
Yeah.
What do you expect? As a matter of fact, do you honestly think that the council chairman would have gone ahead with such an appointment without the blessing of the governor? I mean, let's not deceive ourselves. We're in a climb where council chairmen are errand boys of governors, and they hardly can take any strategic decision without the blessing
the federal
of the
government
governor.
are pushing for autonomy. You don't forget.
Well, the autonomy, have we seen it work? We have not seen it work. Despite the pronouncement by the Supreme Court, there are a lot of technicalities that are still preventing that judgment, from being implemented, to the extent that was why recently the federal government had to set up a committee to see how the judgment can be implemented. So our climb, our political climb is a very, very funny climb, and that is why I usually advocate, in open forums, that look, the kind of democracy we practice, we shouldn't practice a copy and paste democracy. We should customize our democracy to the extent that it will take care of some peculiar challenges within our system. Otherwise, for instance, how much is the allocation of Obiakpo local government area that we warrant such an appointment? Does it now? Of course, the defense has always been they are creating jobs, but is this a sustainable way of creating jobs? It's not sustainable.
Is that creation
it's not
of job
sustainable.
or corruption?
No. Of course, we know that, like some persons have argued, some persons have said that it's a way of money laundering, but I don't have the facts, to agree with that kind of notion, but I am saying that their defense has always been that they are creating jobs. But the question is, what has happened to those 200,000 people that the FCT minister appointed when he was governor? What has happened to them? Are they still in the employ of the Rivers State government? No, it is not a sustainable way of creating jobs. There are many ways. The challenge is that we have people who are not thinking outside the box. We have people who are bereft of ideas. We have people who don't understand what basic governance means. As a council chairman, he has no business with this kind of appointment. His business is
with the people, the grassroots,
on the SDGs, the pillars of the SDGs. That's his business as a council chairman. How can he deliver education? How can he deliver primary health system? How can he deliver peaceful coexistence? The basic pillars of the SDGs. That's the work of a council chairman, not the kind of shameful macabre dance we are seeing here and there. it's very sad. It's very unfortunate.
It's very, very unfortunate indeed. Okay, quickly, let's open the phone lines in Lagos so you can be part of this conversation right here, coming out from the dramatic state, I will say, Rivers State. Yes, you can be part of the conversation on the phone lines 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927 or 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. Don't forget you can send messages via WhatsApp on 0705 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Right here, we still have the former spokesperson of Civil Liberty Organization, who is right there in Rivers State. I mean, does this to say that governance has not returned to Rivers State? Because we're still having things like this, dramas like this. And then the governor and the former governor, the FCT minister, he had a media brief chat yesterday, and then he was still saying that he won't settle rifts with Fubara, and that Wike saying that all of this. But before we go into the conversation of Wike and Fubara, let's still dig more, talking about the local government chairman, having over 230 special assistants. What is he going to do with it? That's the question first.
As a matter of fact, the first question we should ask is, excuse me, what is the terms of reference for those people he has appointed? What is their terms of reference? What are they supposed to be doing? What is their
Will they have an office?
And
will the 230 people have an office in the local government?
I am not even sure
if they have a portfolio?
Council Secretariat can even contain that kind of number, in addition to the civil servants that are already in the employ of the LGA.
All right,
do you understand?
We have a caller on the line.
So are they going to be working from home? We want to see their terms of reference, so that when we see their terms of reference, we can also
let me hold you a
bit.
Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Sir. My name is Raymond. I'm calling from here.
All right, please make your comment. Go ahead, make your comment.
Let me fix it again. I'm sorry.
All right, hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, please call us back. 0705 890 4927 0705 890 4927 or 0805 0805 092 0927 0805 092 0927. Don't forget to WhatsApp message. You can send us WhatsApp message on 0705 690 0927 0705 690 0927. All right, Mr. Sonny, you are trying to make a statement right there, talking about the appointees.
Yes, I was saying that. Assuming we want to give the council chairman benefit of doubt,
okay,
it's important that we know what the TOR of these 230 persons, so that we can now set KPIs for them. So that we can now begin to evaluate their work, if it is quarterly or if it is annually, depending on when the appointments will last. We can now begin to see whether, as a matter of fact, the appointment is justified or whether they are delivering on their mandates. But I assure you that there is nothing like TOR. I assure you that nobody will go to any office. I assure you that nobody will give any advice. These are people that will just sit down in their house and be receiving monthly stipends, maybe 50,000, 100,000, depending on their levels. Because though he has categorized them as special assistants, all of them are not on the same level. There are some persons that will receive higher stipends than some, like we witnessed under the FCT minister when he was governor. There were some that received as high as 300,000, some received as low as 50,000, 40,000. So it depends on, their standing within the political parties, their standing within the wards, and even their standing within the governor's permutations in terms of how, if you scrutinize further, even scrutinize further, you would see that you may not even find, very, very responsible youths, graduates who have gone to school, who are genuinely looking for jobs.
That's among the 230, right?
Yes. What you may find amongst that number are people that maybe have capacity to carry ballot box, people that have to snatch ballot box, people that have capacity to cause trouble.
God.
This is a reality.
That's employing tout nuisance.
Yes, I'm telling you. So, and that is why sometimes maybe some persons will also argue that it's a way of keeping the boys quiet. The FAC and the IGRO of the council is automatically mortgaged. Will this not impact delivery of infrastructural project? Will this not even impact the governor's, promise to Rivers people that is going to deliver on good governance across the local government areas? So it's a very interesting thing, and this is a conversation that we should have, and we should not just have the conversation.
That's why
we should ask serious questions like we are asking now, and the council chairman must not keep quiet. He must answer these questions. We want to see the terms of reference for these new so-called appointees so that we can hold him and all of them responsible. Otherwise, entities that have the powers, to rein in on this kind of thing should move in. For instance, the EFCC should begin to beam its searchlight on the council chairman and the council at large, because we cannot go to bed with this. This is unacceptable at all.
This is unacceptable. But then let's look more into this. Is this appointment across the 23 local governments right there in Rivers State?
No. Maybe other council chairmen have done their own, but they have not publicized it until the council chairman of Obiakpor local government area went on Twitter, went on X to make the announcement. We didn't know that this kind of thing happened. It was the one that even announced it on X.
Then what is the work of civil organizations like you people? Civil liberty organizations like you. Why are they not putting this out there for Nigerians to cry out?
This is, I always tell people that CSOs are also made up of human beings. We're also from the same setup. We go to the same market that you go to. We're impacted by the economy. We're impacted by the same inflation that you suffer. We're impacted by the strange political decisions of our country and even of our state. But that's not to excuse CSOs. But I'm just drawing this, picture so that you also understand that as CSOs, we also have our challenges. Just as you see politicians running amok because of stomach infrastructure, there are also CSOs that are running here and there. There are so-called emergency activists here and there, who are not necessarily for the people, but they run around corridors of power, corridors of government, to see what they can get, to also settle the challenge caused by stomach infrastructure. So to answer your questions, as CSOs, yes, we have our challenges to the extent that we have not even done the watchdog role that we are supposed to do, just like also the media, because you can't single out the CSO. The media is also a party to this, because all of us, we are supposed to also, perform our watchdog role. But what is impacting the larger society is also impacting all of us. But however, because we have been called CSOs, it means that we are supposed to, go above certain boards. We are supposed to, hold these people, accountable on behalf of the citizens. There are some persons, some CSOs, some organizations, and some individual activists, who have still taken it upon themselves to ensure that, they hold government accountable day to day. Unfortunately, because of the political crisis in the state, we have also seen, CSOs who have now taken sides, who have now aligned. They have now gone into alignment. Some of them are aligning with the governor of the state. Some of them are aligning with the camp of the FCT minister.
That's corruption.
Well, anything you want to call it,
No, let's take the reality here. Let's take the reality here.
But it is not a River State problem. It is not a River State problem. It's across the country. Nationally speaking, how many CSOs that are actively there engaging the government, apart from maybe the likes of Serap, that you can mention, nationally speaking. So it's across board, and that's because of what we're seeing, in a larger society. And the politicians knows this very well. This is their end game. That is why they have weaponized poverty. That is why they are weaponizing their appointments. So, but however, the fact that some of us are still talking shows that everybody cannot be bought. But I want to assure you that right now things are no longer the same, the same way they used to be under the former administration. Because right now there are a lot of persons who have taken it upon themselves to hold government accountable because we are just damn tired. This idea of our refusal, or our deliberate refusal, the deliberate refusal of politicians from this state to transit from politics to governance is no longer acceptable. We are no longer going to tolerate it, because right now, as I speak, we are still operating as if we are within. It was about politics. Unlike what we are seeing in Lagos, where immediately an election ends, everybody moves to switches to the next chapter, which is governance mode. That is lacking, and that is alone. As media, you have a very wonderful platform. So use your platform, deploy your confederal powers to also hold public officers accountable, so that at the end of the day, they will deliver on the expectations that comes with the number one priority on their template, not all these funny things we see here and there.
Anyway, I'm seeing a lawyer here in Sonny Dada, the former spokesman, Civil Liberty Organization, River State, who was trying so hard to defend the civil organizations right there in River State. but anyway, still talking about the appointment, the chairman of Obio Akpo local government area in River State, Chijoke Inwowo, who has appointed over 200 special assistants. The question now also is, who will this special assistant be accounted to? Who would they? Is it the governor or the local government chairman?
Of course, they were not appointed by the governor. It was the council chairman that appointed them. So automatically they are accountable to the council chairman. I even wonder if he knows all of them. I'm even wondering if he sees them on the road, if we will recognize.
Not the one that appointed them.
Well, you never can tell some of the way appointments are made in this state. As a matter of fact, I know very well that it's a case of submission of names. You talk to a particular party bigwig, a particular strong general. We don't call them generals, we call them general. If you understand the context of the Niger Delta. So it's a case of telling a particular general to submit names of 5 or 10 of his boys. And all of that. So I bet you that even the council chairman does not even know this number of persons he has appointed. The most important thing is that he has their names, and their names have been forwarded to the payroll, so that at the end of the month, they receive their stipends that has been approved for them. So that is why I described it as a very, very funny scenario that we have found ourselves. But I want to challenge the Obio Akpo people. The leaders of thought in Obio Akpo local government area. There are also CSOs in Obio Akpo local government area. The citizens of the youths that have gone to school, youths that are working very, very hard, that are expecting democratic dividends in the council area. I'm putting them on assignment right now. They should begin to ask these critical questions. They should call their council chairman and begin to ask him some very, very important questions. Who are these people that you have employed, and why have you employed them? We want to see the TOR you have given them. Let us know whether they will work for the council, or whether they will just serve you, or whether they will stay in their houses and be receiving money from our IGRO or from FAC allocation.
All right, Lagos, you heard it all. That's coming from the former spokesman, the Civil Liberty Organization in River State. More to still unfold right here. Coming out in River State has always been on the forefront, talking about dramas in all of this, shenanigans in general. But you can be part of this conversation. Lagos, 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927. All the other lines, 0805 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. Don't forget, you can send us messages via WhatsApp. Yes, send your message via WhatsApp on the 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. In case you're just tuning in, yes, we're looking at River State local government chairman who was appointed a whole number of special assistants, over 200. I mean, this appointment has raised concern. Definitely, this appointment has raised concern. Let's still look at this. Within 6 months, Chijioke, has appointed over 200 special assistants. And the questions we've been asking, the question we're trying to is the fact that who are they going to be accounted for? I mean, why is all of this happening? Could it be another 2027 strategy? But is it not too early, to start, booking people down for 2027's votes? Let me put that to you, Mr. Sonny. I mean, is it not too early to start putting people down? I mean, still have 2 years, so they'll definitely be collecting salary for the next 2 years. No.
No. By the timetable of politicians, it is not too early. As a matter of fact, politicians prepare for an election immediately. A particular election window ends.
But I mean, these people are payroll. I mean, the payroll is going to be.
This is the major reason why. That is why, if you look at their budget presentations, look at recurrent expenditure, for instance. Most of them, their recurrent expenditure is higher than capital expenditure. Why? Because of leeches that have been attached, to the purse of the state or to the purse of the local government area. So they are limited in delivering infrastructural projects. They are limited in delivering on human capacity development programs. They are limited in so many ways. So all they do is, as it comes, let us share. You share to this person, you share to this person, you share to this person. Keep everybody quiet. Everybody is quiet and happy and go and sleeps as long as everyone gets his or her own. And at the end of the day, the council suffers. At the end of the state bears the brunt. Obiakpo local government area and Boni local government area are the richest local government areas we have in the state. But 80%, I want to tell you that 80 to 85% of the projects you have in Obiakpo local government area were done by state governments, various state governments. Why? Because there is a thin line between Obiakpo local government area and Port Harcourt local government area, just like you have between Nasarawa and Abuja. You can be in Nasarawa and not realize that you are out of Abuja. Or you can be in Niger State and not realize that you are out of Abuja. Or you can be in Kogi and not realize that you're out of Abuja. That's how Obiakpo local government area is, with Port Harcourt City local government area. So, and that is why under the administration of the incumbent FCT minister, a lot of the developments in the state were domiciled in Obiakpo local government area. So the question is, what are they doing with the council funds? If not for sharing purposes and all of that. What concrete evidence do they have to show that council funds that comes into the coffers of the council have been adequately deployed to serve the people?
Will there not be an impact on the budget? The one allocated to Obiakpo, will it not impact the budget?
Of course, all of these things are envisaged in the budget before they come up with their budget presentation. Of course, all of these things are envisaged, and most times they hide these things. Under security votes because they can't put them as a standalone item on the budget. Because citizens will scrutinize it.
And so
they just hide all of these things under security vote because you can't question security vote. They will tell you they can't explain security votes to you. So these are some of the things they hide under the security budget. And that is why when you look at the appropriation act of the state or of the council, you find it very difficult to locate some of the programs they eventually come up with when they are in office. You begin to struggle, you begin to wonder. For instance, the FCT minister, when he was governor, constructed around about 12 flyover projects. As at the time those projects were announced, most of them were not
completed
on the budget.
Okay.
So we started asking questions. Show us these items in the budget. Show us. So these are some of the ways they operate. Part of the strategy is that you gag citizens so that citizens cannot be able to or cannot effectively play their watchdog role and ask the right questions that they should ask.
So there are no transparency or accountability to this process, both the funds, the appointment of the essays, the special assistant. There are nothing like transparency or accountability.
No. Why should there be transparency and accountability? There's no transparency and accountability because ideally, if you want to even make such appointments, you are supposed to even advertise the appointment as high as that number. You are even supposed to advertise it so that you can open it up for an average Obiakpo indigene to apply. So what is the criteria for the appointment, for instance? What is the criteria for the appointment of these 230 persons?
But that's where
transparency is lacking.
But these are triggers that the CSOs, I mean the civil liberty organizations, are supposed to ask. How are you guys triggering the government of River State?
And we're asking, yes, you can quarrel with the fact that there may not be steam, that we also have our own challenges.
Have they written to the local government? Have they written an official?
We are only a microcosm of the society. So we reflect whatever you see, just like the way the media will also argue that they reflect the larger problem of the society. But we are asking and we'll continue to ask. And that is why we're also enlisting the media in this fight. Let us ask, because the fight is bigger than just an entity, than one entity. We need to ask these questions, just like we are scrutinizing this now. I also expect leaders of thought, like I mentioned earlier, to also join in asking the council to see.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Oh, place the callers back 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927. Don't forget, you can be part of this conversation. 0805 092 0927. Take it again. 0705 890 4927 or 0805 092 0927. Let's hear from you, Lagos. All of this conversation is talking about the River State local government chairman who was appointed over 200 special assistants. I mean, we don't know if he can appoint over 200 special assistants. We don't know how many aides we have in the house. Like 10 stewards, 10 gardeners, maybe 10 cook. I mean, this appointment is ridiculous. We must say, very, very, very ridiculous. Like our person right there in Wiki, but that was towards the end, of his tenure, and it was understandable. Because really not understandable though, but it was trying to just play politics to keep the state running as a PDP state. But then this has still been governance in River State. I mean, there's been a whole lot of drama and all service delivery, community engagement within the local rift with Fubara, all of this. I mean, he has been during the peace meeting that was convened. He said Fubara has not issued the directive that was directed by the president in the peace meeting they had early last year. So I mean, all of this happening, still the governor and the predecessor are still battling with this. And then how about the governance of the state? What is it like? What's the state of governance in River State right now?
Well, in our climb, once a certain road project is ongoing, or once a certain flyover project is ongoing, so even if the governor is fighting, or even if the governor is distracted, and you tell them that, look, it's impacting governance, they point at the ongoing road construction, they point at the ongoing flyover project, or the drainage construction, and tell you that that's an evidence of governance. But it goes beyond that. But however, let me state what is the major cause of this year crisis. We may not find or recommend a suitable solution because as I speak to you, they have not told us what is causing the problem. They have not told us what is causing the problem. They are only speaking in parables, speaking in non-verbal communication. We want to hear from the conflict actors. Fubara, tell us what is happening. Some time ago, Fubara said that it is not yet time for him to speak. We are waiting for him to speak. Maybe he's waiting for the official election windows to be opened before he will begin to speak. We're also challenging the FCT minister to also tell us what is the problem. During the meeting, it's so difficult that you and Fubara cannot settle. And he also said that he doesn't understand why it is so difficult. He said what is there that is so difficult? It was at that point he made reference to the intervention of Mr. President. So at that point, I expected him to give us the granular details of what the issues are.
Exactly.
Does it have to do with sharing formula of FAC? Does it have to do with sharing formula of our IGRO? Or it has to do with appointments? Or it has to do with party structure, like the former governor told us a certain period that he will not allow anybody to hijack his structure. And that is why you are seeing the kind of funny appointments we are seeing here and there. What is happening, in the state has a link to what is happening in Obiakpo local government area, because that has become a battleground. A very big local government area. It has strong, very important votes, electoral votes. So economically it is very viable. Politically, it is also very, very viable. So it is a battleground, and that is the local government area of the FCT minister. And so the council chairman, who used to be the president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, also, like I said, has also decided to use the same template that the FCT minister used, to ensure that he also raised the structure for the governor, because all of this is about building structures, but in mobilizing people that have capacity. Our own interpretation of building structure is different. Our interpretation of building structure is empowering youths to be able to be creative, to take care of themselves, create an enabling environment for youth enterprise, create an enabling environment for investors to come in. This is our own interpretation of building structures, providing scholarship schemes for aspiring youths that wants to go to school, beef up the health sector, address the challenges in our primary health care system, address the challenges in our tertiary education, and right now we have cultism challenge, cultism ravaging the state like a pandemic. These are some of the things that we expect the governor to give attention to. So when you talk about governance is not just all about constructing drainage. You can construct a drainage and people are not empowered to use the drainage. Exactly. You can build a flyover and people are not empowered to drive drive their cars on that flyover. So it is saddening. It is saddening, and we are worried that this thing is continuing. So 2025, the last time we spoke, I remember I told you that 2025 is a better year for according to the timetable and the programs of politicians. 2025 is like the year of consolidating structures. I remember that conversation was around Peter Obi and co.
Yeah.
So remember that this year is the year that the parties have to put their acts together. Next year, 2026, they will now have to conduct primaries. Then 2027, we'll go into the election proper. So this is the year of building and consolidating structures. And that is why you are seeing the funny appointments here and there. And I won't be surprised if after this conversation we hear that other council chairmen have also followed suit. If you hear that the council chairman has appointed 1,000 or 2,000 special assistants, I won't be surprised. This is their own strategy of building structure, because they also have to raise structure. So counter the structure that the FCT minister said he will not allow anybody to hijack. So until the gladiators come out openly and tell us what is the genesis of the problem, the core issues of the underlying issues, and the interests that are invisible to our eyes, we may not be able to provide a solution or suggestion in terms of how we can come out of this crisis.
Anyway, Nigeria, my country, we just pray that this country gets better and better. We'll go on a short break. When we return, I will go straight to the United States of America, where we now have the 47th president of the United States. Please stay with us.
In many regions, female children are marginalized and face educational barriers. Let us break this circle by
2.7 FM. Yes, Super FM is the station, and Spotlight is the show. Michael Yang is my name. Yes, let's go straight to the Trump's inaugural speech, or Trump's inauguration yesterday. The U.S. President Donald Trump has taken the mantle of leadership of the most powerful country in the world. Well, Trump was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. In Capitol. In his inaugural speech, he vowed to prioritize Americans above all else, declaring that the era of America's decline was over, pledging that his administration would act swiftly to restore hope to Americans. Also, Trump has ordered to pull U.S. from WHO. He signed an executive order directing the United States to withdraw from the World Health Organization, a body he has repeatedly criticized over its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, is this a surprise to you? First of all, I mean, how will you welcome, especially to all the statements he has been making even before election, during election, and now after election when he was being sworn in yesterday, and the overview of everything. The new president of America, the 47th president. Well, what's the overview like?
I like the unemployment record, every inflation rate in Nigeria. We have always had career politicians or retired generals as presidents. We have not been very fortunate or very lucky to have presidents from the business community. The last time we had a break was when we had President Goodluck, excuse me, Ebele Jonathan, but how did his tenure even 30? But Donald Trump doesn't seem to be mindful of that. And yesterday, listening keenly to to the executive orders he has issued and the official policies he has adopted, I was alarmed, especially with 3 key pronouncements he made: the withdrawal of the United States of America from the World Health Organization. That's very, very alarming because it's going to impact the funding operations of WHO. United States is one of the biggest donor, if not the biggest donor, to that entity, to WHO. And now you are pulling out WHO. I know that he has given reasons around the management of COVID-19, and this was the same reason why he almost pulled out the US in 2020 until Joe Biden came and, reversed the policy.
And the rejection of transgender also and illegal immigration.
Sorry?
I mean, and the rejection of a transgender and illegal immigration.
Oh, yes, I'm coming to that. I'm just, talking about, the impact the pullouts will cause, And remember that WHO is a rapid response entity, meaning that its capability to respond to health issues or health emergencies is determined by the amount of war chest it has in terms of its financial capabilities and all of that. So by the time a very big donor like the US is pulling out, the US is going to pull out with a lot of resources, which Trump wants to now invest or redirect to the home front. It's going to impact the work of WHO globally, which means that some health impacted, which means that some ongoing interventions in remote communities in Africa, and here and there will be impacted because their funding will be impacted, just like what UNRWA is going through now, in Gaza, as a result of the Israeli conflict,
Yeah,
So we have a challenge. I pray that they will watch as it pans out, meaning that there is a window. I perceive that there is a window for reevaluation of that executive order. So I hope so. Then his declaration that from henceforth the US will only recognize two
genders, male and
female. I have a challenge with that also.
What's the challenge?
It's a free world. I am a product of free speech and pluralism. So when you come up with that kind of policy, it has a negative impact on free expression. It has a negative impact on pluralism because it means that people of transgender, gay, here and there, and all of that will, face increased discrimination. I know that Donald Trump is of the ecclesiastical stock.
Yeah.
His largest supporters are from, the ecclesiastical stock, and these policies are policies they are advocating for. For instance, the abortion laws and all of that.
Exactly.
All of these things are policies of the ecclesiastical.
So are you faulting?
Movement.
Are you faulting the new policies on the gender issues?
I think the world has gone beyond just male and female. I am a Christian, a pastor in that matter, but right now I'm not wearing my pastoral garb. I'm wearing my activist garb. I'm wearing my CSO garb right now as somebody who has invested significant number of years in entrenching and advocating for pluralism in societies and all of that.
To making the world better?
So sorry?
Are you not seen as a positive step to making the world better?
Well, it depends on your definition for what a positive step is, But knowing what people of transgender stock we go through, especially in the US, as a result of this policy, as Africans, we may go to bed with that policy, with that pronouncement, because Africans generally we are opposed to all these, other sex, other gender issues and all of that. What we know is it is male, either male or female. As Africans, we are comfortable with that. But, walking in other climes, traveling here and there and being exposed to cross-cultural influences, I've also known that it's also important that we respect the rights of people, especially when it comes to gender and all of that. So, and that kind of big pronouncement coming from a state like the United States of America, I mean, it's worrisome. It's really, really worrisome. Then the third policy that he spoke about that I was also worried, that really got me worried, is the plan of the plan to pull out from the Paris climate change agreement. China, India, and US, these are the biggest culprits, in the climate change challenges we're having in Nigeria, in the world, because these are highly, highly industrialized
also 25% tariff
societies. So they pollute, the environment, they pollute the air, they contribute to the depletion of the ozone layer and all of that. And yet he is saying that the US will pull out from that agreement. So it means that I want to assure you, because China has also not fully committed to that agreement, even India, because they know that it will impact their industries. And the US has been championing this. So if Donald Trump is now saying, advocating that they're going to pull out, then it portends a great danger for us.
It portends a great danger. Also, let's look at Trump, the 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico on goods. I mean, starting from next month.
Yeah, I was listening to a speech made by the leader of Canada, where he, very, very strongly condemned the plan and also threatened that Canada will respond, in kind.
Yeah, he wants Canada to actually come together. I mean, with US to just be a one nation. I don't know how that will play like.
No, they have said that they have often said that. In fact, yesterday the leader also repeated it yesterday. He said Canada cannot be the 54th or 55th state of the United States of America, and so they are waiting for Donald Trump. Now, that 25% tariff, of course, remember that it is not only Canada and Mexico that are also relying on the US. The US also rely on some imports from Canada and Mexico. So I know that what we will see right now is a tariff war.
Yeah.
We saw it in his first term between the US and China. So we're going to see a tariff war. But whatever tariff war that eventually happens, my interest is how is it going to affect Africa? How is it going to affect Nigeria? So the era of saying it is not my business, it is their business, that era is gone because it's a global community. One tariff in this location can affect imports tariff in another location. So my interest is what is the impact of this 25% tariff or the potential tariff war that will eventually play out? How is it going to impact the Nigerian economy? How is it going to affect the ordinary citizens of Nigeria? But we are watching. But my summary take on this is that Donald Trump should be mindful of the responsibilities the United States of America, owe to the world.
Yes, exactly.
There are a lot of policies that the U.S. will take that will disrupt the global economy, that will disrupt the global social cohesion project, that will disrupt a lot of things,
But
So
quickly
these
on
are the things
this.
I expect him to be very.
Quickly on this before we wrap up on the show today. I mean, a lot of foremost Nigerians are asking or telling the president to avoid confrontation with Trump, stating that all of this should be lay low. I mean, you should stay clear of antagonizing Trump because there is nothing a bully likes better than taking on people who are not strong enough to resist him. That's coming from foremost coming out of Africa, immigration, coming hard on Africa and the immigration, talks and all of this. So do you see any of this confrontation, or is just a normal be careful kind of thing?
I don't think Tinubu needs that kind of that advice from anybody. I'm sure he knows himself because he has enough moral baggage in his kitty. That should ordinarily let him know or warn him, to be very, very careful because the man called Donald Trump is very unstable. You can hardly predict him, even yesterday during his speech, I kept watching the facial expression of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Another thing there too. I mean, it was there. Nigerians, I can hardly see where the producer saw be there. I mean, even when
I didn't get that. You said who
I
was
mean,
there?
Biden was. I mean,
Yes.
was there. That's something to emulate too. I mean, in Nigeria.
Yeah, they were there all the time. Trump was speaking. My interest, I kept watching their facial expression. At some point, they couldn't help it but to start clapping for him. But it speaks largely to the personality and the character of the man. There are things you can't take away from the man, and that thing is that he's very, very passionate about delivering democratic dividends to his country.
All
So,
right.
but for Tinubu and how Trump policies would generally affect Nigeria and all of that, I'm sure that the Minister of Foreign Affairs knows what to do. Trump generally is not an African person.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just about Trump, generally the Republicans. If you look at the history of relationship between Africa and the US, you notice that the Democrats are for the blacks. The Democrats have often, shown more care, about issues around Africa and all of that. And if you look at presidents that have visited Africa generally, between the Republicans and the Democrats, you notice that the Democrats have even paid more visits, to Africa. That is the presidents from the Democratic Party have paid more visits to Africa than the Republicans. The Republicans care less about you, and that is why some persons see them as homophobic, some persons see them as white supremacists, and all of that.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
My summary take is that 2027 election should present Nigeria an opportunity to elect charismatic leaders who are so passionate about serving their country. Because this was my summary of this was the major takeaway I had yesterday listening to Donald Trump, the policies he has rolled out, and the way he speaks passionately about attacking the challenges, inflation, and
we're out of time now, Mr. Sonny. We're out of time now. So sorry, we're out of time now. But thank you very much for your time. Former spokesman, Civil Liberty Organization, Sonny Dada.
Thank you so much.
All right, Lagos. See you tomorrow, same time, 7:30 down to.